Hi class, this is Susan and I'm here to talk to you about creating visual appeal for your blogs. Now, of course, one of the most important ways that you are going to create visual appeal for your blog is through images. And I have this document here that I would like for you to go through, and I will pull that up in a minute. But before we get to images and photographs and all of that, I did want to have just a little sort of quick discussion about the visual appeal of using subheads. So let me pull up a student's blog. I really think she did a great job. She did this, I believe, on Canva. We'll talk about the headers later. You don't have to worry about that right now. But this article that she did, How to Deal with Travel Envy, it's not a listicle, but she has, she added a couple of subheads. And what I like is they're a slightly different color. She chose like a gray, like a darker gray, I think. Or maybe she just bolded them, I'm not sure. But the point is that they really they help to really add visual interest even on top of the illustration. And they really, if you didn't have illustrations or you didn't have enough, it's another way to help create scannability on the page. Let me show you another one. Here's another blog. This is a music blog, and Caitlin did a great job here with her subheads. Again, it's not a listicle, but she's really creating this chunkiness, and it really works. So it's a combination of images and then the subheads. So the key with subheads is that you always are going to format them using H2 or H3. When you put your main title in the spot where the title goes, WordPress automatically puts it programs that as your title tag. So it's telling search engines this is your title. So that's why it's really important to have keywords in the title of your post, obviously. But then for the rest of your post, when you have formatted subheads, so we format them for a couple of reasons. The first is to create visual hierarchy, so that they're bigger and they stand out. So we want them bold, at least slightly bigger than the text. If they're too big, you can do H3, but they should be bigger and they should stand out, because that's the point for visual hierarchy. It creates scannability, visual appeal. You can even take an accent color and make all of your subheads throughout your whole blog that color, and that's a really easy way to create sort of a visual branding look as well. And then the other reason is that it for whatever is formatted in that subhead will also go out into gets priority for search engines. So it's a really good way to boost your SEO. And the last reason is that it makes your content more scannable for screen readers, that they can go to subhead to subhead. And that's really important for people who are visually impaired and using screen readers. If you ever have a chance to see a screen reader demo, I would definitely take it. It really opens your eyes to the whole issue of accessibility for online content. Anyway, that's another conversation. These example blogs are on our class menu under class blog URLs. You will see this page. This is just some info about your blog. This is where you can find everybody's blog titles or blog URLs. And then here's a bunch of sample blogs. So you can look at these and see how other students have created their visual appeal. Okay, so let's talk images. One of the most important things to understand is that you can't just go and take any image that you want anywhere on the internet. So let's just say I am looking for let's say I'm looking for puppy photos, because I have a puppy blog. So I go to Google Images and I put in puppy images, and I come down here and I'm like, oh look at how cute this is, Country Living, I'm going to use this one. Well, you can't, because it's from countryliving.com, and I know they're not going to just have an open, Creative Commons license for you to use. They're not. Somebody probably took it for them, or they're paying Getty or another source a lot of money to use images. So you can't just go and take it and say, oh, courtesy of Country Living. That is not permission. That is copyright violation. So what you want to do is come back up here and go to Tools and then you'll see usage rights. And then what you'll see is all Creative Commons licenses. And Creative Commons is this copyright movement for open and shared resources on the web. It's really grown. There's a lot of Creative Commons resources now that makes it a lot easier to do this kind of work, you know, adding photographs to a blog. So here, we can come over here. Pixabay is a site I'm familiar with, so I know this is going to be usable, but you still need to go and look at what the attribution is, because it might be free for you to use, but you might need to have a link back to the website. They might want you to download it, and that might embed their website URL in it. So it is important to come and read the attribution to make sure you're not required to mention the source, although if you do know the photographer, I always would just say to mention it. So this is really an important issue too, especially if you're going to be using your blog, as many of you will be, to help you get, if you're an undergraduate or in the BSMS and you have a co-op, it's going to help you get a co-op, or if you are creating a portfolio to get a new job or a job, it's really going to help you. It's going to show a potential employer that you can write and format long-form content, and that you understand copyright, which is a really sensitive issue. So it's really important. Now here in this document, I want you to click through here. I did give you the main link to the Creative Commons site. You can search there directly for images. You should certainly feel free to take your own images. That's always going, to be great. You don't have to be a professional to do that. You can certainly do it. There's ways. I have some links here for you guys for Canva, which many of you already use, or Pablo, which is a super simple way to add a text overlay on an image. So, and then memes and GIFs. Those are always good too. YouTube video embeds, screenshots. So I know WordPress now has a little bit of a better embed function from like Instagram, but it doesn't always look right. So actually just taking screenshots of social media posts is a good way to add visual appeal, and that is copyright usable still so far as I know. The other thing is too, when you are using like products, like if you're recommending skincare products, you are allowed, it's considered fair use to have an image of the product. And then, you're linking to the site where somebody's going to be able to buy it. So that's considered fair use. Album covers, movie posters, movie trailers for YouTube would be considered usable. Book covers and DVD or game like covers. Those are all considered usable and okay to use. And again, if you can use your own images, that's great. If you can't, that's fine too. But try to avoid super generic images. Like I say, if you have to use super generic images, just do something to make them your own, like add text or funny text or something. Just because, I think you're actually better off with fewer just generic and using more like subheads. You can also do quote call out, where you can highlight like a quote or something on the page, which can look nice. So there's lots of ways to add visual appeal. I also linked this down here, which is some tools and resources. It starts with the Pablo because that's the buffer one. So you'll see that one, Canva. And then there's some other sites. You don't have to go crazy with your visual appeal. One way to give a good look to how you use images is to, group or frame multiple images. And I show you how to search for this on WordPress. In blocks, do image, and you can do a gallery or tiled, and then if you click on patterns, it will show you how it will look. So, there's ways that you can, add, like you might have like a little gallery in every post, and that's sort of like your signature visual, or you might have a meme in every post, and that's your signature visual. So you don't have to, you might not be a photographer or an artist, and that's fine, but there are pretty simple ways to add that visual appeal. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. And now you've been warned for the rest of your life about only using legit images from Google.